This stock went up over 330% in just a month and a half. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can find the next one. The single best thing you can do to improve your win rate is to buy stocks with strong fundamentals. This is the sales per share data on the 330% gainer that we just looked at. And notice how the sales per share jump coincides with the stock price jump. Now, in doing the research for this video, I found a new setup here in ThinkorSwim scanners that I genuinely believe is going to make me a lot of money moving forward. Just before we get to that, let's go over the actual scan filters themselves to help us limit the results to only strong fundamental names. Now, the filters themselves for this scanner, very simple. I am only using two fundamental type filters, which in ThinkorSwim, if you don't know how to add, you can click on add filter here in the top right. That gives you this drop down. And if you click the fundamental filter type, you then get these drop downs from which you can find first the price to earnings ratio. And I have the second drop down set to current. So the current price to earnings ratio must be at least 0. This is the easiest way that I could think of to say that the company must be making money. This means that the company has a positive earnings per share, because if it were negative, the price to earnings ratio would be either negative or non-existent, as you can't divide by 0. Next, and this is the real strong one, the real important one, the sales per share. And then I also switch the second drop down to year over year percent change must be greater than 20. This means that the sales per share over the last 4 quarters must be up at least 20%. So the company is growing. It is making more money and at a pretty rapid rate. A 20% growth is a pretty rapid rate. Now, of course, finding stocks with strong fundamentals is only half the equation, right? What you see running here on this chart behind my head is a custom coded strategy that I have built that took this trade on the 300+% runner. The technicals involved in a trading strategy are also still very important. So we need to be able to scan for that alongside the fundamentals, correct? Well, back within our simple fundamental scanner here, I can come up to this top bar and intersect with. If I click into this, let's see if I can quickly find, it should be called my runner's large cap here. My runner's swing trading large cap scanner. This is the scanner that is associated with the technicals of that trading strategy that I just showcased. So if we intersect this fundamental scan with that scanner, if I am doing what I believe should be done here, now only stocks that are meeting both of the scan setups will appear on the list. So the stock right now at the top is CELH. If I load up CELH with this strategy currently running as it is, you can see CELH is actually already entered. My strategy is actually up like 90%, 80% already on this trade as well, but it does align with my swing trading setup, the technicals of that, and it must obviously be a strong fundamental stock. So you will be able to intersect any of your other scanners with this fundamental scanner so that, once again, you are getting both sides of the equation. You're not only finding stocks that match your technical setup, but now stocks that match your technical setup and are very fundamentally strong stocks. You combine fundamentals with technicals and your win rate is going to skyrocket. Now, custom coding in ThinkorSwim is what I do. It's what the niche of this YouTube channel covers. So I have myself just a ton of personal scanners that I can load the technical setups of with my associated strategies so that I can intersect once again with this now new fundamental scanner. Now, luckily, if you would like to access those scanners that I've spent the last 5+ years building within ThinkorSwim alongside over 150 plus other custom coded associated strategies, studies, conditional orders, alerts, etc., they are all available on my website, daytradingstrategies.com. net. There will be a link to this website in the description down below the video. You can sign up for either a monthly plan or an annual plan. I do have my service set up as a subscription model because I am always adding and updating codes to the website. Every single week, you will get likely a handful of new codes. Obviously, with the annual plan, you are going to save yourself a little bit of money, but more importantly, you're going to get lifetime access to the Discord channel when you sign up for the annual plan. This Discord server currently consists of 380 members. That is a lot of eyes on the stock market, just always calling out what is moving. This is a great way to be alerted in real time of stocks that are making moves right now. I'm even sharing a live stream from YouTube of a stock scanner. So that's just another way that you can never miss a move if you are in the server. And actually just today, I've started a new channel where I'm going to put trade setups that I find interesting. Actually, the most recent one is CRMD, and we'll loop back to that because you may or may not have noticed this was actually the #1 stock on the scanner that we're building in today's video. But anyway, if you would like to come join the conversation over in the Discord, once again, it comes at no additional cost when you sign up to the annual plan over on the website, which is linked in the description down below this video. Now let's quickly look at my picks here in the Discord and let's talk about CRMD. This is once again the same sales per share chart that I was showing on the previous name. And as you can see here, CRMD has just absolutely exploded in its sales per share over the last 3 quarters. And if we come back into our ThinkorSwim charts here and we head on over to the CRMD daily chart, you will see that this stock has actually been moving pretty crazy over the last year, over those last 3-4 quarters in which the sales per share has been exploding. That the first big tick in the sales per share data happened in September of 2024. That's when this strategy enters this trade, ends up just making an absolutely massive run. I can't see over 150% move up. The same strategy, once again, on the stock, while it would be, and I'm going over these strategies now because the stock would have been on that fundamental scanner we built during this entire time frame because the sales per share data was exploding, right? This was just 4 months ago. The strategy enters the trade up over 100% in just under 2 months. So that's what I'm talking about in finding very strong fundamental names and obviously combining your technical setups alongside of that to greatly not only increase your win percentage, but increase the size of your wins too. You find a stock the fundamentals are blowing up like that on, those are the kind of moves that are more likely to give you those 100% in 2 months, right? But how, right? Like why is CRMD here? Why is this at the top of the scan results with just these 2 simple fundamental filters? Well, this is going to bring us to this column here, which is the new setup that I found that I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I think might be the best default setting within ThinkorSwim that I have ever found. What this column is it is the sales per share year over year percent change. And then of course we can sort ascending top down by this column to find the stocks with the largest year over year percent change in their sales per share. You can see here CRMD sits at 60%. That is ridiculous. And I showed you its chart, just a ridiculous sales per share growth, which is giving that name so much bullish volatility, as you just saw with the profit on my strategy. Now, to turn this column on, you're going to come to this small cog icon to the far right of your column headers in your scan results, and then you're going to click into customize. From here, you'll look up, of course, the sales per share column, double click on it to add it to your set. Now, I knew all this, like I knew that existed. I knew you could turn on the sales per share column, and I've done that, and I've actually been doing it for a while in some of my scanners. What I never really realized, I almost wonder if this is new or maybe I just missed it. I don't know everything, right? But I never realized there was a second drop down here in the column as well, just like there is in the actual filter itself. You can click into this and you can change which sales per share data value that you are looking at. Of course, by default, it is just set to the current sales per share number. You can instead obviously change that to the year over year percent, and that is what gives you this just extremely helpful column to sort any of your scan results by. And then just quickly, I want to make sure that nobody thinks that this is something custom that I built, that you need to sign up to my website to go access this. I would love for you to sign up to my website, but I don't want to give you any false pretenses. This is all just available out of the box within your ThinkorSwim. So no, you don't need to sign up to my website. You can go turn on this year over year percent change sales per share column right now. Like, yes, signing up to my website will give you access to this scanner, will give you access to all of my other scanners, will give you access to the trade strategy, those study labels that show you the statistics of the strategy, etc., etc. You're going to get a lot with my website. I don't want you thinking that you need to sign up if this is a column that you want. And I really, really believe this is a very powerful column as well. I think it's something, like I said earlier in the video, I think it might be the most powerful sort of code, if that's what you want to call it, that comes default within ThinkorSwim. And I'm sure one of the first things you noticed when you look at the sales per share year over year percent change is that there are a lot of stocks on here less than 20%. I actually think that this fundamental filter is broken because whenever I load in this scanner, if I can find it quickly, this DTS fundamental scanner, it is never the sales per share data. It ends up changing to the book value per share growth 3-year average and sets that to the minimum of 20. I don't know why. So watch, I'll change it back. I'll change it back to the sales per share year over year percent change, set it equal to 20. And even if I add a new filter, let me just come in and add a new fundamental filter, it changes that one away from the sales per share data. So I actually think that this is the filter. Actually, you know what? I haven't done this yet. 394 results from running the sales per share column. Let's see if that number changes. No, the number doesn't change at all when I run it with this book value per share growth. So I actually think that the sales per share filter in ThinkorSwim is broken. I'm still going to leave it because I still like the kind of results it gives me, but that adds extra power to this custom column because now you can get more realistic data. And this data seems once again a lot more realistic because CRMD sits at 60%. Once again, hopping back into the Discord and looking at the sales per share growth, this definitely looks like 60%, if not even higher than what is identified in ThinkorSwim. This thing has very rapid growth. But anyway, I just want to point that out because you guys are going to import this filter once again from my website, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. I think what's going on or what seems to happen is that for some reason the sales per share column just keeps getting reset back to this default book value per share growth. So I don't think it's actually working as intended, but once again, I'm going to leave the filter on because I like the results that it gives. And now you have this sales per share year over year percent change column. So you can still use that to sort by and see any stocks that have very high sales per share growth over the last year. Now I've gone ahead and loaded the saved fundamental scanner along with the sales per share year over year percent change column used as the sorting here in the left hand column because I want to go through a handful of these names and just look at how even just one, this is just one of my many swing trading strategies that I have published over on my website. I want to see how it has performed. And I have set my daily chart to only be running on the 1 year time interval. We're looking at stocks with just 1 year over year high percent change. So all of these stocks would have been on this scanner really over the last 12 months. Now, maybe they wouldn't have all been at the top of the scanner, but they would have been somewhere on the scanner over the last 12 months, as that has been when these stocks have had rapid sales per share growth. So I want to go ahead and click through some of these names and just look at how my strategy performs. I want to give some validity to this idea of combining fundamentals with technicals is a great way to find just hugely profitable trade setups. Let me try to get myself out of the way here a little bit as well, which you can see here on CALM. Starting once again in September of 2024, got in at $73, out at 105. Then again in March of this year, in at 92, out at 108. Very, very profitable trading, once again, on a strong sales per share growth, strong fundamental company. By the way, I just want to showcase this too, little pro tip here. If you don't know how I'm doing this, I have a watch list gadget added to my little left-hand pane here, and I have the link set to 2 yellow, and I have my chart also set to 2 yellow. This is how you can now click through. All I have to do is click on a stock on this watch list, on this scanner, and it will load onto the chart. Just a little extra pro tip there, but here is TSSI. So this is once again the 330% gainer stock that we showed in the intro of this video. Once again, you can see how the strategy has been performing very, very profitably on this name. Let's look back quickly at the sales per share data on the last 2 names that I looked at. It's because I don't want you to think I'm cheating with the way I have this scanner set up and we're looking at the strategies. I don't want you to think that, oh, just because the stocks are now strong, they're at the top of the list, and that's why your strategy is profitable. Remember, I'm running this scanner just over the last, I'm running my chart, should I say, just over the last year. So it's currently August 2025, so my charts are looking back to August 2024. Well, you can see here, and this is TSSI, once again, the 300+% gainer, that it got a massive jump in its sales per share in September. So that was within the last year, you would have been, this is just a massive, probably 80-90% year over year sales percent change growth. And on this ticker, if we go back to it quickly, the first trade was entered here in October of 2024. So once again, definitely within the last year and definitely after this stock started having a jump in its sales per share. The other ticker that we have already looked at was CALM, and just looking back once again at September in CALM, or even October, I guess the first one here is in August, you can see the sales per share had already started growing in August. So it already would have been up towards the top of the scanner before the strategy once again started to trade it. If we once again quickly hop back over into CALM, just to show you this as well, this first trade here is not taken until late September. So this is after the sales per share data had already started rapidly growing. That's when this first trade was taken. So yes, all these tickers that we're looking at now, once again, because we're using year over year percent change, and we're only looking at the last year time interval, they all would have been on the scanner when this strategy started to trade them. All right, let's move on. Let's go ahead and look at the next stock down on the list now, DCTH. And okay, this one doesn't look as amazing. It's actually gotten itself back to profitable now, but it had a pretty red streak here, was down a little over $6,000 at the worst, sort of more so at the beginning of the year. Once again, was able to get itself back to profitable, but doesn't look like a great profitability chart on this one. Listen, I don't expect them all to win. The idea here is never, hey, this idea that I gave you means that you will never lose. No, of course, there's still going to be risk. Of course, there's still going to be losing trades, losing positions, losing stocks. The idea is that we are improving our win rate. We're putting ourselves in a better situation to make money. And once again, the worst here was like down $6,000, and this stock has come back to profitable, first thing. And nextly, TSSI, we're up $53,000 on, Calm up $14,000 on, CRMD up $40,000 on. So like, yes, there's a drawdown, but as long as we're keeping our drawdowns much smaller than our winners, who cares, right? The next stock on the list are, wow, RIGL. This thing is a rocket ship right now. It's funny. My back test labels say we're only up $178. That's because it's currently in just a massive trade. The strategy entered at $20. The stock is currently trading up over $40. So it's currently in a massive open position. This stock just very, very strong, and probably a name you've not heard of. I've never heard anybody talking about RIGL. That's the beauty of using scanners like this. You can find this type of strength that maybe other people haven't even really located. Like, it's not in the mass populace, all of retail trading talking about it, like Nvidia or Palantir or Robinhood, that kind of stuff that everybody's talking about and you know about. These are the names like this exist too, that you can go out there and use a scanner like this to find. Next one, SMCI. Okay, here's another red name. Once again, I do not hate showing you all my winners. Returning subscribers to this YouTube channel will know that. I don't hate showing you my losers, should I say. I want you to understand that the strategy is still going to lose sometimes. Oh, yay, we found great, strong, fundamental stocks. That means we're never gonna. No, of course, you're still gonna lose sometimes. Once again, total P&L at minus 19 grand. That is offset by this one single trade here, which is currently up over 25 grand in RIGL. So once again, it's all about the balance between the losers and the winners. And even in the two losers that we've had so far, they've been kept manageable versus the size of our winners. The last stock we'll look at, ISSC, and look at this, up over 37 grand. And just another massive move. I mean, my strategy got in at $6.74. It went up over $20. Now, unfortunately, had a pretty harsh gap down here, so my strategy didn't get out until this candle opened at 15. But even with that massive gap down, strategy still made upwards of over 115, looks like maybe 120% in this trade. So use this column in any of your scanners. Use this fundamental scanner and intersect it with any of your saved scanners to find not only what matches, remember, your technical setups, but also now the other half of the equation, strong fundamental stocks, and you will notice yourself quickly becoming a better trader. I have already uploaded this scanner over to my website, daytradingstrategies.net, so you can go easily import it from there if you would like. So remember, if you want to join the conversation on Discord with 380 other traders, as well as now see any stock setups that I find to be particularly interesting, and you would like to access over 150 plus custom ThinkorSwim codes today, as well as access anything I will add in the coming months, then head on over to daytradingstrategies.net. Once again, it will be linked in the description down below. I even have a handful of free codes available over here right now. And I mean, completely free. I'm not gonna ask for your email. You don't have to make an account. I don't want your credit card information, anything like that. They truly are free. And actually, I'll use one of these to quickly showcase to you how easy it is to get the codes from the website into ThinkorSwim. So every single code on the website has a unique TOS URL like this. All you need to do is copy this URL. Back within your ThinkorSwim, you're going to go to Setup in the top right, Open Shared Item, paste in that URL, preview, and import. So in about 5 mouse clicks and 3 seconds, you can have any and all of the 150 plus custom codes added into your ThinkorSwim, and they are saved locally into your ThinkorSwim. Once you import them, they become your code. You can even click into the scroll icon to read and edit the source code if you would like to learn how they work or adjust them to help fit your own trading styles. Once again, once you import them, they're yours. It's not like even if you decide to unsubscribe from the website, you're not going to lose the codes or anything like that. And you turn them on just like you would any other study, any other strategy, or you load in the scanners just like you would any other scanner. And there you go. You can have my codes running inside of your ThinkorSwim. Daytradingstrategies.net. At least go check out and take advantage of the free codes. Why not? They're completely free. Maybe while you're over there, read the reviews and help decide for yourself if this is something that could help accelerate your personal trading journey.